There we go. Let me move this bad boy there. There we go. Better. Better. Who do you trust? Me. Of all the movies to quote, like, right now, that's kind of weird. Batman 89 came to my mind. Nerd, he wears glasses. Y'all been known I wore glasses. What are you talking about? It's already been established in the continuity. But like only when I'm like doing computer stuff. My eyes don't like the screens too much. It was good, Josiah. It was good, Adam. It's good, 1610. Where'd the nerd go? I don't know. I'm here. Lois, I tripped and touched your boobies. I'm here now. I wear glasses and ill-fitting clothes. That's how you know I'm not Superman. I really hope James Gunn doesn't go in that direction with the character for the Superman Legacy movie and just the DCU in general. I hope that is not a thing that people do. I mean, I really like Zack Snyder's take on Superman and the Superman Clark Kent dynamic, where Clark didn't really change much because, you know, they're running off that John Byrne kind of idea that who the fuck's gonna put two and two together that Superman is literally some guy standing in line at Starbucks like for a 9 to 5. Like, no one's gonna think that. So just he doesn't have to try hard because he's no one's gonna think about it that hard. But I do like seeing a Clark Kent that is bumbling, not like cowardly or like dorkish to the point where it's like nauseating, but I think the Superman cartoon, like My Adventures with Superman, does a really good job. This is the dude who, he's like just naturally a big guy, and he has a he has a way with these fragile human little devices like doors and limbs. He can crush them or just blow them up by simply touching them too hard or just the wrong way. So he's always kind of like, he looks like he's uncoordinated because he's just trying to like not kill everyone who comes in contact with him. I much prefer that take on Superman. That's a very Frank Quietly take from All Star Superman. They even like say that in the deluxe edition with some of the sketches in the back of the book. I like that take a lot. That's like one of my favorite takes on Clark Kent. You know, he's dorky and like uncoordinated because he's just trying to not blow up the world around him on accident. But yeah, we'll see what James Gunn does with the Clark Kent Superman dynamic in the upcoming films. Michael Bay's Elite. Oh man, I'm anticipating a lot of hot takes from people who watch that video. I don't know. I really don't like that comic. I really don't like Action Comics 775. I mean, I liked it years ago when I had like I want to say like a base understanding of the Wildstorm universe, because I didn't really read anything from the Wildstorm universe outside of I think Wildcats. And even then, like the later Wildcats run, where it was just Grifter and them other motherfuckers, like that's the extent of Wildcats knowledge that I had when I first read Action Comics 775. So I just kind of took the book as, oh yeah, 90s comics dog shit, and the elite are dog shit 90s characters. But then you like actually sit down and read 90s comics, and then you, I don't know, man, Action 775 is just some boomer bullshit, dog. It's just an old man yelling at the clouds. That's it. Need. Welcome to our comic book YouTube channel, talking about comics. 1610 Man says Kingdom Come equals Mark Waid's 50s comics agenda. Yeah, or even then, I think that's more like Mark Waid's, how he remembers the 1950s comics agenda. That's, I don't know. I really hope people don't walk away from my last video thinking that I hate Kingdom Come. Like, I mean, I do hate it, but like, I think it is a beautifully drawn comic, or I guess painted. I think Alex Ross painted that book, but it's a beautifully painted comic, and I think in terms of the story, it is a beautiful story, like objectively, but I just don't like it. Like subjectively, I have several problems with it. Just fundamentally, but a lot of that just comes down to the fact that Mark Waid and I are just in two radically different. It's a generational thing. There's an age gap. You know, Mark Waid has like easily 35, 40 years on me. So the way he sees the DC universe is just so far removed from the way I view the DC universe. So that's just. It becomes one of those things where like I can't even say like one party is wrong and the other is right. It's just we're looking at the same river, but just from two opposite sides of the bank. So's the new Superman cartoon from Adult Swim. Yes, but only because Cartoon Network is shutting down. And I don't know the nitty gritty of all that. That's a whole cluster, and honestly, it's been a long time coming. This is something that people have been talking about happening for the past like 10 or so years. So Cartoon Network, it seems like, was running on fumes, and just now they're out. There's no energy left. There are no fumes left. The engines just collapsed. Again, very unfortunate, but yeah, just I think Cartoon Network is gone now, and that's the reason why this new Superman show is on Adult Swim instead of Cartoon Network. I don't know what's going to happen to Adult Swim now that Cartoon Network is gone, because Adult Swim was an extension of Cartoon Network. Dude, we will just see what Warner Brothers looks like in the next, like, 2 to 3 years. I'm fascinated to see what Warner Brothers as, like, an entity looks like in the next couple years. But, yeah, all of this is just kind of coming off the heels of a bunch of dominoes collapsing into one another over the past 20 years. Other DC superheroes in Superman Legacy feels overcrowded and less of a Superman standalone. I feel that, although I can totally 100% see all of these cameos being just that. I don't think they're going to be in the movie to any substantial degree outside of just establishing that this is an established DC universe. I think it's gonna be there are gonna be scenes where Superman just shows up and like Green Lantern's trying to do something, and then Superman's like, "Hi, I did 90% of the work, but I'm gonna say you, good job, man." And Guy Gardner's just gonna be like, just start humping the air like, "I hate you." I don't know. Yeah, I don't see those characters being any more than just like cameos to flesh out the larger DC universe. Sort of like how not exactly how, but the Ravagers from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, they show up and they are like not really in the movie that much, but they are there. I can totally see, like, I'm gonna just assume that this is James Gunn's take on, like, the Justice League International. Because you got, like, you got Mr. Terrific, you have Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, you have Hawkgirl, you have Metamorpho. Being played by Hank, which is amazing. I love Hank from Barry. Beautiful casting. I love it. Personally, I honestly would have cast him as Lex Luthor. I know that sounds crazy, I know it sounds obvious if you don't know that actor, but I know it also sounds crazy if you do know him and you've seen Barry. But I legitimately think he would have been an amazing Lex Luthor. But now, okay, you don't. I'm cool. It's cool that he's playing Rex, but I don't know. Just me being me, it's like, oh, that would have been great if he was Lex Luthor. But we're gonna see how James Gunn fleshes out the whole Superman lore and mythology in the coming years. But yeah, no, I really think it's just gonna be a whole thing with the Justice League International. They're trying to do a thing, and then Superman shows up and outclasses them, and then just goes about his day. And he's like, "Well, I'm Superman. Goodbye." I could totally see that happening. Scream says, "Hello. Just read Fallen Friend issue. The best part is the G. Willow Wilson written chapter. She really hones on Kamala's friends and friends and family. It's the only good part of the issue. You didn't love the last page where Cyclops basically winks to the camera and says, 'Kamala Khan, mutant, Miss Marvel, coming later this year.'" You didn't love that part? Because that's basically what's gonna happen. I mean, it seems like that's what they're trying to seed with the MCU, and I could totally see them doing that in the comics, which is, I feel so weird about this, because on the one hand, I feel like Miss Marvel should have been a mutant from the very beginning, but on the other, I've come to appreciate the Inhumans' role in the Marvel Universe over the past, I want to say 5 to 10 years, because I started reading Earth X, and it was like one of those like perfectly timed weird things. I was at my local comic shop and I saw Captain Logan from Geek Evolution was doing a live stream on Earth X, and I was like, "Oh, well, Earth X is cool. It's 50% off my LCS. Sure, I'll just buy it and I'll check it out and I'll watch the video later." I am reading this book. I don't have it right now. It's in my girlfriend's house right now. But like, I'm reading this book and I am marveling at marveling, but I am marveling at how much Marvel editorial and like the creators at Marvel over the past 20 years have just been just picking pieces away from from Earth X, like a little crab, like doing the little just doing that for like 20 years. Like, we make jokes about how DC does this with all their Elseworlds books and all their like solo graphic novels. Like how Batman is just picking from Dark Knight Returns all the time, or how the larger DC Universe material is always picking from Kingdom Come. Like, they're always gonna like try to say like, oh, in Kingdom Come, it might be canon for the future. I mean, they don't do that now, but they were definitely doing that between like the early 2000s up to Final Crisis. Like there was a lot of, oh, maybe Kingdom Come is the future of the DC universe. Who knows? But yeah, Marvel's very clearly been doing that with Earth X. You could tell in how just all the stuff with the Eternals and the Celestials has been handled. That whole thing where Neil Gaiman introduces the dreaming Celestial that's stuck inside the Earth's core. That whole idea kind of comes from Earth X, with like the Celestial that's gestating within the Earth's core. There's also the whole thing where you start to question the real difference between mutants and Inhumans and just everyone else who has fucking superpowers in the Marvel Universe. Is there really a difference? Earth X says there isn't, and you can tell that there are writers who want to follow that direction and go that path, but someone at Marvel Editorial was like, just don't do that. Don't fucking do that. I bet you it's the next minute editor going like, don't do that shit, don't do that. But yeah, no, there's definitely that question being asked in a lot of the X-Men and Inhumans comics from like the 2010s onward. So there's just a lot of Earth X in the Marvel Universe currently. So that's where I started to like really appreciate the role of the Inhumans, and why I really appreciate Kamala Khan's lineage as, well, not lineage, but like, you know, Kamala Khan's heritage as an Inhuman. I think it's really potentially fascinating, and I don't know, man. It just kind of, it sucks they're just killing her off just so they can Krakoa her back to life and say, actually, you have an X gene. Your blood does the when we put it on this little, whatever the fuck doctors call that thing, the little, the you know that shit. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm a philosophy major, but yeah, no, just I don't know. The comic was fun, I guess, but it was really, I thought it was stupid. I thought the art was beautiful. I thought there was a lot of really good art in this Fallen Friend comic, but everything else is fucking dumb. Sorry, that was a really long just tangent. I just really wanted to talk about Earth X for a second, I guess. 1610 Man says, Mystical Green Beanie, your video, very informative with comics history that fans and casually, very informative with comics history, that fans and casuals try to revision history from what it actually was. Thanks. I mean, I noticed that a lot, and that's something that I do too. And history is a very funny thing. It's just something that people... There's a line from the Daredevil show, the Netflix Daredevil show, that I really latch on to. Where Wesley says that history isn't written in stone, it's smoke. in a room full of fans, or something to that effect. And he's like, yeah, history is just whatever you want people to like remember it as. That's true. That is very true. Um, and I think there should be a little bit of discipline when like looking back at older material, comics or otherwise, and just kind of like have a sober approach to that material. But a lot of people don't do that because that takes discipline. Um, it is what it is. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm look at me, I'm disciplined. I know how to read things. I'm not trying to say I'm that. I'm not trying to claim that, but just there is a level of like knowing how to read older material, and like taking in, or like taking note of, the times they were coming out of and the intention that the material is probably written or drawn with, and also how we, the current era, are looking back at that material. I think that takes a lot of... There's a discipline there. So, yeah. Supreme Omega says, because the rest is not so good, because the other two chapters are written by Mark Wade and Saladin Ahmed. The one written by Wade is focusing on the champions. You can guess how that turns out. Okay, dude, I'm gonna be like 106,000,000% honest with you. Reading Marvel Mark Wade is a very different experience from reading DC Mark Wade. In a lot of ways, I feel like Mark Wade writes at Marvel as just like this is a thing I'm doing because I have spare time. Whereas when you're reading like DC Mark Wade, it feels like there's actually like he feels at home. And I say that because no, did I not get it? No, I didn't buy it. I mean, I flipped through it at my local comic store, but like I didn't actually buy it. I'll get it next week. But World's Finest Teen Titans, right? Okay. Going into that book, I was super nervous. Like, I was almost kind of dreading the experience because I love the World's Finest Batman Superman book. I think Mark Waid has a really wonderful handle on Batman and Superman and just the DC universe as a whole, which is hilarious because I was just bitching about how Kingdom Come sucks like 5 minutes ago. But I think Mark Waid has like a really good handle on the DC universe, and I like the bits where we cut to the Teen Titans as like support characters, but they were never really the main focus of that book. And whenever we're seeing Robin in that comic, for the most part, it's as, back up to Batman. And I think he writes Robin very well in World's Finest. But a whole Teen Titans comic? Bro, I read Champions. I don't think I'm the only one who had this experience when reading Champions. But Champions was like really cringe. Like it was I don't know exactly how old Mark Waid is. I want to ballpark it and say he's like in his late 50s maybe. Sometimes when he writes with the vigor of a young man. But when he writes teenagers, he definitely feels like a late 50s something writing 15-year-olds. And I had that with Champions really hard. But one of the things that I guess I realized when reading the World's Finest Teen Titans versus Champions was World's Finest Teen Titans actually like you see the relationship between the Titans and the Justice League. Like you get to see both the adults and the kids, and how the kids have a point and the adults are kind of askew, or they're they're not really seeing the forest for the trees. Vice versa, like you get to also see how like the adults are like they're the adults in the room. Sometimes there's a moment where Batman's like, yeah, I don't really like trust the fact that you guys are like a whole team. Like, this is dangerous. I mean, he's still kind of like being like a douchebag Batman. Like, I don't trust people. But like he's not like an asshole about it. It's just Bruce Wayne's a control freak. And Mark Waid writes him like very faithfully, I believe. And I don't know, there's just a lot of nuance there that just is not present in Champions. And it 100% was not present again in this Fallen Friends book, where you just see like Miss Marvel. I mean, I think Mark Waid was trying to make her look like a real go get 'em, and I'm the North Star of the team. You know, I'm the brains and the heart, and I know what I'm doing. I'm the leader. But she just kind of comes off like a what's a nice like a cunt. And I don't feel bad that she's dead. I don't know, is that awful to say? I mean, it's pretty awful to say, but like, she's not real. She's two-dimensional, so she doesn't have rights. Plus, she's a woman, so who cares? For the sake of the internet, that's a joke. I don't feel like I have to point that out, but I'm going to, just to cover my ass. But yeah, dude, that whole Fallen Friend thing was, I don't know. At least Mark Waid's doing really good when he's writing DC characters. I'll say that. Cartoon Network shutting down. LOL. Damn, you were ready for it. Saturday morning cartoons is a dead concept. Yeah, it is. Most people just watch everything on streaming now, so I honestly don't know why the Superman show wasn't just immediately put on Max. It feels like a thing you just put on HBO Max, or I guess not HBO Max. It's just called Max now. But yeah, I don't know why you don't just put it on Max. Because it was just weird watching this Adult Swim show just trying to censor itself, and like they use laser guns, not real guns, and there are moments where like characters could swear but they don't swear. It's weird. Very bizarre. But I get it. Hot take: I feel like G. Willow Wilson is the only one who knows how to write Kamala and her family and friends. That's not a hot take. That's just accurate. Bro, that's just you speaking facts. Speaking facts. What's up, Devia? Just got out of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. It was awesome. Oh, dude, I wanna see that. I can't see it this weekend because I'm going to my girlfriend's aunt's wedding, but that's a movie that I'm definitely going to make time to see. Also, just because like a lot of movies are getting pulled out of theaters super fast now. Like The Flash, I saw like less than like 3 weeks ago, and it's already on digital now. Evil Dead Rise literally came out a couple weeks ago. I watched it on HBO Max like on Sunday or Saturday night. Also, the Asteroid City, the I almost said Wesley Snipes, Wes Anderson movie. That's coming to streaming, I think now. So like, I don't know. Movies aren't staying in theaters. It's just bizarre. But yeah, I definitely do want to watch Dead Reckoning at some point in the near future. I just have to weigh whether or not it's more pressing to watch Dead Reckoning or Barbie and Oppenheimer. Because those are movies I'm gonna watch like on the same day. I am setting aside the $140 that it will require to watch that movie. Because I'm watching both of those in IMAX. I just am. There's no question. My girlfriend and I are gonna do like a double feature day. It's gonna be amazing. I already got my outfit picked out. Oh my god, dude! I'm going all in, all in. I got my chips ready. I got my chips ready. I'm all in. I'm all in. Actually, I don't think there's that much money in here. I think it's really probably like just like maybe less than $40 in change here, but I'm all in. This thing is really cool too. I think this comes from like the shitty Hellboy movie, so that kind of sucks. But like outside of that, it's a really cool Hellboy like piggy bank. This from Previews World. Oh, sweet. There's like a little thing on it. That's awesome. Oh, I have like so much Hellboy stuff in my room. Good God. Ugh. All the Hellboy crap here, you'd think I'd talk about Hellboy more on my channel, but I don't for some weird reason. You know what it is? It's because Omniframe, they made like some really solid Hellboy video essays, and I just kind of didn't. I was like, well, everything that you can say about Hellboy has been said, so So I defer to those videos. They're really good. I am gonna play that Hellboy game when it comes out. If it comes out, they still haven't given a date, which I think is weird. But I hope it comes out like ballpark early 2024, like January or February. I will 100% stream that for you guys. I absolutely am. I am balls out, balls clout, tits out. Like beaming. I'm beaming. For that game. I want it so badly. Where was I? I like just kind of. Dude, I need a mod because I'm like too insane to like run this by myself. Josiah says, literally playing Teen Titans Go all day. Really, they're running on fumes? You don't say. Yeah. 2000 nostalgia. Remember all the fan castings of Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan as Green Lantern. At least we can stop with that. Although, granted, I still feel like Nathan Fillion would have made a really good Hal Jordan. Even as like an older Hal Jordan, because I know like Nathan Fillion's like in his like 50s now. Dude, just like give my man the Silver Fox, you know, give him the Reed Richards. It'd be lore accurate. You could even blow up Coast City as a joke. It'd be hilarious. I also read The Amazing Spider-Man 28. Dude, Tevia, you keep bitching about Spider-Man. Like, don't read the book, man. Like that's where I've gotten with Spider-Man at this point. I got the video games. You know, we got the Spider-Verse movies kind of let me down. The last one let me down, but at least the animation's amazing. So we got the Spider-Verse movies. that cartoon may come out at some point in time. The freshman year cartoon, maybe. So there's other Spider-Man stuff out there. Just, I don't know. I'm just ignoring all the new shit. Also, what about Cyclops post-credit scene? Because I don't remember the post-credit scene. And well, it's not a post-credit scene. It's literally just like the last page. But there's a bit where the champions all gang up on Cyclops and they're like, "How dare you not go into the it's not a funeral, but like, how dare you not show up to the going away ceremony and blah blah blah." And Cyclops just kind of just does his. I can't tell you why I wasn't there, but I wasn't there for reasons. You're gonna find out later this year. Like, it's so obvious they're gonna bring Kamala back as a mutant. It just is. If they don't, I will eat my eraser. This little ball of gummy lead. I will put this in my mouth and I will eat it if I'm wrong. I doubt I'm gonna be wrong though, because it's what else are they gonna do? Marvel's Earth X, the Bible of Marvel Comics, dude, basically. Which even then, Earth X is just looking at like all the Jack Kirby stuff from like the 60s and 70s and going like, that's the Bible. Even the weird shit that like no one else remembers. Yeah, that's the Marvel universe. We're gonna square circles that Jack Kirby didn't even know were squares in the first place. Why do you want Earth X to be canon to the mainstream Marvel universe? That's a bad idea. Because it's an ending, and the Marvel universe needs some of those characters to just end. Like, Marvel literally, as its foundation, it's a soap opera. The thing that works about soap operas is that these stories come to a close. Or they reach these, like, I'll call them checkpoints, where the status quo was just, like, so far beyond anything that resembles where the show began. You're basically watching, like, a new show at that point. I feel like those are the rules that the Marvel Universe should continue to play by, because that's what they started out as. Because just doing this whole, like, meandering bit, dog, that's stagnant. I'm not here for it. I thought the Inhumans were all dead at this point. At this point, no. Are they? Fuck. If they are, that kind of sucks, but damn, I can see that. Earth X being canon is not great, especially for Spider-Man. What do you mean? You don't want to see a 50-year-old fat Peter Parker being told how pathetic he is by his hot college symbiote daughter? I don't know. I think that's the comparing that to what we're getting now, guys, fellas. Okay, maybe she's not college. I think she's high school. So I take back my statement of saying she's hot. But, like, you know, still, fellas. One of these status quos is better than the other. I don't think the choice is hard. 2000s nostalgia. Remember when Marvel wanted Ultimate canon to 616? Well, I mean, they forced it anyways. Eventually, the Marvel Universe just kind of, or I guess the main Marvel Universe just started cribbing a bunch of Ultimate Universe crap to the point where it became like a baby Ultimate Universe. That's like literally Marvel from all new, all different onward. Toby says, you do realize that Marvel editorial are the same hacks who want to keep Peter Parker as a miserable 24/7, and plus Earth X canon has Peter Parker Spider-Man have his daughter. Yeah, that's why I like it. Peter Parker gets to grow up and be an adult in Earth X, which he can't do that in current Spider-Man comics. Which is why I'm here for it. 1610 Man says, for the Spider-Man marriage fans, at least Earth X has their favorite ship. And Peter has a kid. That's true. That is 100% true. No, I scrolled too hard. Damn it. No burn. God damn it, Batman. I keep scrolling too hard. I keep seeing advertisements saying I can't last more than 5 minutes. It's longer than you. I broke the bat in your basement while your butler watched. Stripped you, I did. But not in a gay way. It's not gay. It's just very masculine, homoerotic, in a straight way. Fuck, where was I? Okay, there we go. Also, when G Willow, the G Willow Wilson written chapter, you can tell she wants to ignore almost everything that happened to Kamala ever since she left Marvel in 2019. I feel like she wasn't a fan of Saladine's mind wipe of her parents. You can feel that. You can definitely feel that. I mean, granted, it shouldn't have happened in the first place, but here we are. Yeah, Mark Waid at Marvel doesn't really have any heart and soul. I'm glad you like Kingdom Come. I you know, just like Adam says, I don't like Kingdom Come. That's just, I don't like Kingdom Come. I do like Mark Waid's run on Daredevil. It's quite good. It's quite good, mate. It's magically delicious. It is. It does feel like janitorial work, though, to some degree, just some degree. It feels like janitorial work. Mark Waid is definitely trying to fix Daredevil, because he recognizes a core problem that the character has had since, what was it, Guardian Devil, and that, okay, I've gone on this like tangent before, but I'll try to like be coherent this time. The problem with Daredevil post Frank Miller, specifically post Born Again, is that after Born Again, every writer and artist just wants to do Born Again. The problem with that mindset, the problem with trying to like do Born Again not as like 6 issues but as like 60 is that, or even not even the inherent problem with it, it's just the problem that we've seen is that I don't think a lot of these creators realize that Born Again is broken into 3 acts. The first 2 acts are, or I guess the first act is Kingpin figuring out that Matt Murdock is Daredevil and then fucking with his life. The second act is Matt reaching his lowest of lows. The third act is Matt crawling out of the cab in the Hudson River and then being rescued by his mother, and he is born again. You know, and then there's the whole thing where he embraces Karen in the street, and there's like the heroin needle like sitting between them, and they embrace, and he forgives her, and then he helps her through her withdrawal, and then Matt goes off to, he's still a bum, but like he's flipping burgers, he's making a living for himself and Karen, but that book has like a happy ending, the point of the name Born Again, but yeah, every writer after that comic comes out just wants to do Born Again, but specifically the first 2 acts of Born Again, where Kingpin is dangling his misery cock over Daredevil, just pissing all over Matt's head, going like, "You're so miserable, aren't you, Matt?" And Matt's like, "Oh, I'm so miserable. I'm questioning everything, and I'm angry. I'm going crazy. I'm having a nervous breakdown." But no one ever puts Matt back on that track of getting better. Because Kevin Smith does Guardian Devil, and he ends Matt in a really somber place where Karen she's dead. She thinks that she has AIDS, and then she kills herself, and then Matt's just like, "No, my girlfriend, no." And then Bendis picks up right after that with Alex Maleev, and that is just like 50 issues of Matt having a psychological breakdown. And then you get to the Brubaker stuff, and then that's like Brubaker's like trying to put some of the pieces back together, but then he leaves the book in such a way where like Mr. Fear causes Matt's wife to like go insane, and then she's like living with her parents, and they have to like basically divorce Matt for her, and then Matt becomes like a cultist for the Hand, and then you get the Andy Diggle run, and that ends with Matt, "Well, I got my back blown out by the beast of the Hand, and now I was the devil for a couple issues. It was insane. I fought Ghost Rider." Shadowland happened, and then he's just like a bum. He's just bumming it on the side of the road on his way to San Francisco. So by the time you get to like the Mark Waid run, Mark Waid is basically doing the third act for that character of Born Again that no one else wanted to do or felt the need to do or could be bothered with doing, which is, okay, Matt's been broken down to his lowest point, let's build him back up. So I really liked Mark Waid's run on Daredevil for that. There are some things he does that I don't quite agree with. There's some directions he goes in that I don't quite agree with, or at the very least, I didn't agree with them as I was reading them when I was 14. I'm sure if I go back and read some of that material now, I'm going to have a very different experience with it, but at the time, I was kind of like, what are you doing? What is this? But yeah, no, I really do like Mark Waid's run on Daredevil. Outside of that, I think a lot of the Mark Waid stuff at Marvel, it feels, I don't know, man. You can just tell when someone's heart and soul is in something, and you can tell when it isn't. I feel like Mark Waid's heart and soul isn't at Marvel. In the same way that I feel, and this might be like a controversial statement. In fact, it is a controversial statement, considering this guy's position. I don't feel like Jim Lee's heart and soul is at DC. I think he has like an appreciation for DC. I think he definitely likes drawing those characters. I think there's something to the DC universe that he appreciates like in an intellectual level, but I don't think his heart is at DC. I think Jim Lee's heart is at Marvel. I think if you gave him the chance right now, like no corporate bullshit, whatever, if you just like put a sheet of paper in front of him and said, who do you want to draw? The first thing that he would start doing is drawing those little stubbly little like Canadian hairy Wolverine legs, and then he draw a picture of Wolverine. I don't know, man. And I think a lot of people are just like that between like Marvel and DC. Like there are a lot of Marvel artists, or I guess Marvel artists, who are working at DC right now. There are a lot of DC artists and creators working at Marvel right now. I think if you put Al Ewing on a Justice League book, he would feel right at home in a way that he maybe doesn't when he's being forced to do miniseries for Ant-Man and the Wasp, which are great. I love those, but like just Al Ewing wants to fucking write. Like he wants to write Superman or some shit. I think he does. But yeah, man, I don't know. Daredevil by Mark Waid's really good. 1610 Man says fans forget how Marvel rushed MJ back into the comics for the Spider marriage because Stan Lee wanted a publicity stunt for the newspapers. Yes. But that's just one of those things like the delays for Watchmen. No one remembers any of that. No one remembers the chaos behind that. They just remember the product that came out as a result. Let's start talking about the Mark Waid Champions book. Oof, yeah, it was not great. Arcus, hey, what's up, Arcus? Spreading some chaos out here with them emeralds of yours. I don't know, Teen Titans and Robin were really prevalent in Waid's Batman Superman. Even Superman got less to do in that book. That's my biggest problem, by the way. Waid wastes pages on Titans instead of the main characters. Well, that's where I think, and I hear where you're coming from. I disagree with you, but I do hear where you're coming from. It's one of those things where I think Mark Waid would really just like to do a DC Universe book. Like Batman and Superman are like, they are the narrative framing devices, but this is really just a book for Mark Waid to just do DC Universe shit. That's really the thing. Mark Waid just wants to explore the DC Universe and like, not even really explore the DC Universe. This is just him like writing a love letter to the DC Universe. That's like the big thing he wants to do with this book. So it's cool that it's a world's finest title, but like I think the Batman Superman, I think the name should be dropped from it, but they're probably not going to be dropped for it because they're doing it to like push sales. But yeah, no, it definitely is a book that is like honoring the entire DC universe more so than just honoring Batman and Superman. 1610 Man says Mark Waid and Kurt Busiek. Hey, remember the Silver Age? Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of those guys in that age bracket are. I mean, not to do the whole like, if you're this age, you're gonna do that. But like a lot of guys in that age bracket, Kurt Busiek, Mark Waid, Grant Morrison, really hard. Yeah, a lot of those guys who just grew up on that material always are gonna call back to it. Like I'm looking at the pages from Brian Hitch's, like the inks that he's done for Superman Last Days of Lex Luthor. There's a bit where Lex Luthor is just he's piloting a giant like snake dildo or something, and it's like a classic 1970s Bronze Age style. He's got like a war suit on. And I mean, apparently this book is supposed to be like a sequel to Superman Birthright, which I just don't see it, because Birthright is, it's a very modern Superman story, and Last Days of Lex Luthor, at least from Brian Hitch's artwork, um, it seems very throwbacky to like Bronze Age material. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see. But Mark Waid is definitely a member berries kind of guy. W says, how do you feel about actors strike and the writer's strike messing everything up? Well, I wouldn't say that the writer's strike is messing everything up. I think not paying writers and actors in some cases, or a lot of cases, because it's not some cases, it's a lot of cases, paying these people what they're owed when they are like literally the backbone of the entertainment industry is absurd. And I think, what was that shit that came out earlier, where it was like some producer was like, well, we're just gonna wait it out until all these writers and editors are like homeless, and then we're gonna have them crawl back to us, and just they're gonna get back to work. That was the most like cartoonishly evil shit I've heard in a while. Maybe not ever. Definitely not ever. I've heard a lot of cartoonishly evil shit over the years, but that's up there. That's definitely up there. Did you ever watch Metalocalypse? The movie comes out later this month. I did watch Metalocalypse as a kid, and my girlfriend's really into Metalocalypse. She's a massive Metalocalypse fan. So we are definitely going to watch the movie later this year. I'm excited for it. Old Thomas, the movie. Oppenheimer, I'm glad to see. Yeah, dude, I'm glad to see it. I'm not skipping Barbie either. I'm going to go to the movie theater with like a tuxedo top, and I'm gonna wear some like some beach shorts bottoms with Crocs, just so like we're all clear here. I'm here for the kinpocalypse. The kinpocalypse is starting. Oppenheimer versus Barbie. Dawn movie fans hypocritical debates. It's weird. I'm not seeing people debate these two. I'm seeing more people just go like, yeah, we're gonna double feature it. Or yeah, this is a double feature. My Adventures of Superman is a show for babies, and it was intentional this way because creators wanted everything to be lighthearted and optimistic. They even completely changed both Lois and Clark, cutting off any edge. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because that does kind of speak to a potential fear that I have, not just with this show, but with Superman in general. Something I've noticed with the character over the past 35 plus years is that Superman is a character who is sort of at war with himself, and we have eras where the character will kind of like run in the polar opposite direction of whatever is happening in the now, and then after you've been there for a little bit, the character will run in like 180 degrees in the opposite direction again. Like when John Byrne took on the reboot duties of like building the Superman lore from the ground up, that was a version of the character that was so radically different from pre-Crisis Superman that by the time you get to the early 2000s, a lot of the weird pre-Crisis stuff just kind of like comes back full force, because I guess like Jeff Loeb and Joe Kelly and all those guys during the City of Tomorrow era were like, well, the 90s was weird, and Supergirl was a weird Matrix glop, and Krypton was like this bizarre, like 1970s pulp planet that where people are, they're all wearing hijabs. It's weird. It's not my Krypton. So they just kind of took it all the way back to the 50s and Silver Age. While also still saying that like the 90s stuff still happened. And then like around that same time period, you had Smallville on the air, and then you had Jeff Johns kind of come into a more prominent role at DC, and then he eventually takes over the Action Comics title, and then of course Jeff Johns just says, well, Superman over the past 20 years has just been weird, so we're just gonna make it, we're gonna make everything familiar. We're gonna make everything familiar, and by that we mean everything's Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner. Everything's Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner. Clark Kent is gonna be drawn by Gary Frank to look just like Christopher Reeve. He's gonna have the Crystal Fortress of Solitude, and we're gonna have callbacks galore. General Zod, he was a Russian Kryptonian with Clark Kent's face. How about he's just Terrence Stamp now, like you remember? Isn't that familiar? Isn't Christopher Reeve Superman good because he's Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner directed him? And isn't it great that like we're just gonna tell extensions of those Donner verse stories in the comics now? Isn't that just great that we're doing that for Superman now? That's just what that character is now. And that bred a mindset that Superman can't really escape that like wholesome, like ha ha ha, I'm the ultimate Boy Scout, I'm Christopher Reeve. That the character went in a hard 180 from like the 2010s onward, when, you know, this is when you get the New 52, this is when you get Zack Snyder, this is when you get Superman Earth 1, this is when Injustice starts up, this is when we start getting the dark and gritty Superman, like the ultimate badass, like the manly man Superman, and I don't smile, my eyes glow like a red demon. And that was very much like the default for a long time, definitely through like the 2010s up to the early 2020s. And now you can definitely tell we've gotten sick of that, and a lot of the people working at DC have gotten sick of that. But again, complete 180. We're going in a complete 180 direction here, with the My Adventures with Superman TV show, the Superman and Lois TV show, the comics currently, specifically the comics being written and drawn by Joshua Williamson and not Naomi Campbell, Jesus Christ, not Joseph Campbell either. Fuck, who? It's a Campbell name. There's something like that. My brain's fried right now. But the artist who's like, it's a really wholesome art style. It's very Pixar. But like that's the direction we're going with the character now. And I'm worried that out of this post Zack Snyder, post Earth 1, post 252 direction, I'm afraid of the 2010s going so hard in the opposite direction that by the time we get to like, you know, 2030, Superman is literally just Steven Universe, where every 5 seconds this motherfucker's talking about, I believe in truth and justice, and I'm gonna wipe my tears on problems, and I'm gonna give everyone a hug, and that's how we resolve the problems. Super. I'm afraid we're gonna get to that point. Because that's just what Superman's been for the past, like, 35 plus years. It's just nothing but, oh, this thing is, we're gonna do this for like 10 years, and then we're gonna go in the opposite direction, and then we're gonna do this for another 10 years, and we're gonna go opposite direction. I don't know. I like I like the direction of My Adventures of Superman right now. It is refreshing right now. But I can definitely see this being like patient zero for a lot of people in the next decade. Going like, yep, that's the point. That's the point when Superman just became fucking insufferable for me. I can't. Like, that show's cool, but, like, Jesus Christ, it informed everything I don't like about the character over the past decade. I could definitely see that being the legacy of My Adventures with Superman. I can see that happening. 1610 Man says, Hellboy creator hates the original Hellboy movies. He wants a faithful adaptation. I mean, I feel him. Like, Hellboy's a really interesting thing. I just don't know how you adapt it outside of, like, video games that Mike Mignola would be working on himself. Adam says, I remember reading Earth X all in one day in my library. To quote George Lucas, it's so dense. Dude, yeah, it's a very intimidating book. Even for, like, a long-term Marvel Comics reader, it's very intimidating. I have heard that Universe X and, like, some of the subsequent, like, one-shots that Jim Krueger does aren't as good, but they are still interesting. So I want to check those out. But yeah, I'm a sucker for punishment. I don't know the context of that, Tevia, but you know what? You do you, and I applaud you. The Spider-Verse movies gave me Mayday Parker, Spider-Girl, which is awesome, dude. That's, you know, you're a man of simple taste, and I respect that. I wish I could look past all my faults with Across the Spider-Verse and just say Mayday Go Burr, but I can't. Like, not until we get that next movie. On music soundtracks, I just listened to Prince's soundtrack for Batman 1989. Better than the actual film. Well, A, it's not hard because that movie is not good. But B, it's not a fair comparison, dog. It's Prince. Like, Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. Like, dude, what are we talking about? What are you talking about? Prince is amazing. He's Prince. Also, that, like, soundtrack carries that movie. It's like, I think it's like 90% of the reason why people like that movie. It's the soundtrack. No, I scrolled too weird again. No. There we go. 1610 Man says Spider-Man fans have, for comics content, that main Marvel Universe, Earth 616. Just read something else in a different universe. Yeah, MC2. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I don't even know what Marvel would do with Spider-Man at this point. Like, what do you do with Spider-Man now? Do you just, like... I don't even want to think... That's, like, the thing. I don't even want to think about it anymore. Just... Yeah. Dude, it's time for the Spider-Man to die. We need Ryan Johnson to write the next Spider-Man run, so you just have a disheveled Peter Parker drinking blue milk directly out of like a tauntaun's, like, titties, going like, it's time for the Spider-Man to end. That's where we're at now, or at least that's where I'm at. Instead of being a mutant, why not retcon Kamala as being a mutate? Like Spider-Man or the Hulk. It would still allow her to be an independent hero protecting Jersey City. That would be cool, but they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. Also, according to Earth X, mutates, mutants, Inhumans, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Debbie says, personally, for me, MC2 universe is my canon ending for Peter and Mary, or Mary Jane. Well, I wonder how you feel about Spider-Verse, where MC2 Peter gets like viciously murdered on his front lawn by like energy vampires. That is canon. That is canon now. That is a thing that Marvel made canon. Earth-X does give me Peter Parker and his daughter, but unfortunately MJ pays the price and dies. That's true. Supreme says, also hot take. Purple Rain is better than Thriller. Oh, I'm gonna say I respect your conviction. I respect your balls, your cojones, and saying this on the internet out loud. But yeah, respect. I'll leave it at that. You're so lucky my mom is not in this room with me right now. So lucky. Marvel's just trolling Sony with Jackpot as Mary Jane. Marvel's trolling themselves with Jackpot as Mary Jane. Early 2000s nostalgia. Remember when Jackpot was supposed to be Mary Jane? Ugh. I do, and then Marvel just like backed off because that was a terrible idea. Speaking of Daredevil, that reminds me, I'm wondering if you've read the current Daredevil book because it's amazing. I am not caught up on Daredevil. I'm reading Daredevil in trade, but that is a book that I definitely want to get caught back up on. Although at this point I might just get those big collections that are just like Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky, because some of the trades are just. There's a bit where like the Daredevil book stops running and then you have Elektra as Daredevil. I don't know where that shit fits in. I don't really feel like looking any of that up. So I'm probably just gonna like get rid of the trades that I have currently and just wait for the new printings to come out soon. We don't talk about Shadowland and the Hood Green Bean. Dude, it happened. I was there when it happened. I seen it with my own eyes. Dude, Andy Diggle's run on Daredevil was just not great. And I love Andy Diggle, but just oof. What about Stan Lee's Daredevil run? I genuinely like that stuff. No, like Stan Lee's run on Daredevil is really fun. And then you get the it was Don Heckens. Who else was that? Was it? I think it was Larry Lieber. I think Larry Lieber did Daredevil after Stan left. See, I like a lot of that material. I think it's really fun. And then like I think Denny O'Neil takes over the book for a while, and then Frank Miller takes over for Denny O'Neil, and then Denny O'Neil takes over for Frank Miller. I think that's how that goes. Could be wrong though. I don't remember. Adam says, I remember after Shadowland where Matt goes soul searching for like 30 seconds and went back to being Daredevil. Dude, oh my god. Shadowland was a book. That was a book that happened. I can't explain why it happened, but it happened. It is a thing that existed. Unfortunately. Uh, Maybe Jim Lee should leave DC, go to Marvel. I mean, like in an ideal world, yes, but like that is like the worst financial decision you could ever make. Um, Going from like editor in chief at the rival company to just being a grunt again, or like at least a high paid grunt. Fuck no. That's that. Yeah, nah. Could couldn't be me. Yeah, couldn't be me. A final question with Across the Spider Verse, killing the box office, literally it being a success. Do you believe Marvel editorial should finally get the hint and let Peter and MJ have their daughter? I mean, I think even beyond Across the Spider Verse, they should let that be the case just in general. But there's a lot of ego wrapped up in that decision that I think is really preventing uh, the marriage to happen again, and Mayday to come into existence. Just a lot of ego. Um, DCAU Bruce Timm being obsessed with Batman and Batgirl's relationship. Uh, it's like a man going out with his best friend's daughter. It's not like an old man going out with his best friend's daughter. It is an old man shacking shakes with his best friend's daughter. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. It's gross. Um, the writer's strike of 2008 and Nolan's Dark Knight ruined George Miller's Justice League Immortal. I'm hip. Damn. You think we're gonna watch history repeat itself? It could. It very well could. Rest in peace, James Gunn, DCU. Supreme Omega says also when Kamala, when she appears in anything outside of the G. Willow Wilson run, whether it's MCU or the Avengers game or something else, you notice all of them overemphasize her fangirl side. Does that bother you? It does. It does. Here's how I kind of like brush it off though. I could totally see from the perspective, because that's how we're reading these books, like, that's how I read those books. Like if you're reading a Spider-Man comic and then Kamala Khan shows up, you're engaging with the universe around you as Peter Parker. I could totally see Peter going like, "This fangirl is insane. She's such a fangirl. It's weird. It's crazy how much she knows." But we're seeing Kamala Khan through the eyes of these other characters in the Marvel Universe. See, I don't quite mind them playing that up now. That's something I've definitely come to in the past couple years. Bart Allen Impulse. Fuck. Well, fucked up. There we go. When you were a kid, how come you didn't vibe with the character? What about Bart bother you? He was just annoying. I just thought he was annoying, and I was like, no, Wally's right. This character's fucking get the fuck out of the book. Like, I hate you. That's just where I was at when I was a little kid growing up. I thought it was boring. Still wish we had Superman Family animated series. That would have been cool, but it got replaced by the Harley Quinn show, so we're not gonna see it. Pre-Crisis Superman is better than Donner vs Superman. I mean, they're basically the same character, though. Like, they kind of are. I don't know. Bat Family question. Alright, shoot. Let's go. Let's get it. What would you do with Cassandra Cain? Does she have to be Batgirl forever and forever and forever? Isn't she allowed to grow up into another phase of her life? Well, that's what I liked about the whole Black Bat era. Granted, you can't make her Black Bat anymore because there's a whole legal situation wrapped up in that, which doesn't make sense because Black Bat is a public domain character. Or at least I thought he was public domain, but that's like one of the real reasons why you haven't seen Cassandra as Black Bat in like over 10 years. It's because DC doesn't want to get sued out of the ass by whoever owns the name. I don't know. Jamal Campbell. Okay, yes, that's the artist for the current Superman book. Yeah, he has a very Pixar-esque style. I think it works for Superman really, really well. Also on the 2000s DC controversial opinion, Green Lantern Rebirth is overrated and damaging. I do like Johns' GL run overall, but I keep thinking, once they revived Hal, only a matter of time before Barry got revived. That's true. Do you feel the late 80s is when Batman overtook Superman as the premier DC flagship character? Yes. Yes, the late 80s and early 90s is the age of Batman. From 1989 onward, that's when Batman becomes like DC's cash cow. And then the Nolan films just kind of double down on that. The DCU has done this several times, retcons and reboots with Crisis. Usually it's part of a larger effort to make the characters more accessible and marketable. Usually it fails. Hated Spider-Verse comics for killing off MC2 Peter. Do me too. Hot take. Okay, Chocolate Rain is better than Purple Rain. Those are like two different things, though. I feel like those are two different things. They're like incomparable. It's like comparing Lena the Plug to Riley Reid. Like same, but different. Too different. I don't know. They don't really see the similarities. Think about My Adventures with Superman. The even romance aspects is tasteless. Look at the show like Dress Up Darling or Toma-chan as a girl. They had more tension and energy and sex appeal, while My Adventures with Superman have nothing. We're only two episodes in. I gotta wait to like properly assess that, but even if you're on the money, you have to take into account the fact that DC fans, not really DC fans, Superman fans are I was gonna say Superman fans are starving. Really, just Superman fans think they're starving, and that's really what's gonna drive a lot of the praise for this show. It's just Superman fans thinking, I haven't eaten in 20 years. I forgot what food tastes like. Acting like the fucking Aquaman fans or some shit. The Electro Daredevil book does connect to the main story. I mean, I know it does. It's just like, where does it fit in? That's the thing. It's like a weird mini-series that takes place between like a couple issues of Daredevil. So, can we agree that Denny O'Neil is the man responsible for laying the groundwork for serious comics? Dude, absolutely, man. That's like not even a question. Tevye says Marvel editorial downfall is going to be the hard way. Yes, Marvel is apparently just their whole thing is just being difficult because I'm Marvel Comics. I get to be difficult. So it would be like that, and that's frustrating. But yeah, the thing about Bruce Timm is that he's a fan of '60s Batman show, and this is where Batgirl appeared, and it's just Batman's love interest. Yeah, there's some of that too. If we're gonna be sincere, there, I'm just gonna smile and do this. I'm just gonna lightly cringe because you're right, and I hate that you're right. Wally West at least got to be an adult and have his family, which really is awesome. Spider-Man keeps sucking badly. Well, it's just like I don't think anyone at Marvel Comics really knows what they want to do with Spider-Man outside of like play greatest hits. Well, anyways, it's midnight over here. Oh yeah, good night, Tevye. 1610 Man says Christopher Nolan's Justice League Anti-Terrorist Task Force. So like the Ultimates? I mean, that'd be interesting, but I don't know. Well, anyways, no, I already know that one. On Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler. When you were a kid, how come you didn't vibe with the character? I just thought she was annoying. I just thought she was annoying, especially compared to like Cassandra. I thought Cassandra was so cool. I thought Stephanie was. Get the fuck out of the book, dog. Why are you here? You're annoying me. I just didn't like her at the time. Also on Tim Drake. How come most people want to tend to forget that he's rich? Isn't that weird? That is very weird. Like, no one addresses Tim's wealth. I don't know, man. Also on Tim Drake, how come most people tend to forget that? Yeah. I already read that because I'm tired and I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, which that's something I need to not do later tonight. In fact, I'm like falling asleep already. You guys are amazing. It's just I haven't. I stayed up to like 4:50 in the morning, like editing the video that I uploaded like earlier today. So my brain's a little fried. Plus, like working 9 hours a day. It's just gonna fry your brain naturally. But yeah, guys, I'm glad y'all came by. It was really fun. Oh, like we got one more down here. Actually, 2 more. From 1610 Man says, crisis happened because DC creators couldn't keep track of continuity. Nowadays, DC Database Wiki literally labels labels the multiple Earths and histories with comics and appearances. Exactly, which is why DC has no business rebooting it ever again. She also wants Steph. You have to admit, she is the only working class girl in the Bat family. Isn't that relatable? That's not true because we have Harper Row. I'm kidding. No, I do like that idea a lot. Just no one's gonna do anything with her. But yeah, guys, this has been fun. But now I'm actually going to go to bed and hopefully get like a proper like 8 hours sleep, which I've been neglecting my body from doing the past couple weeks. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming by, and I will see you later. So until next time, adios, nachos, adios.